What part of Lisa McPherson's autopsy photo could you take responsibility for, sirs?
Could you guys take responsibility for the part where she had cockroach bites on her? Or the puncture wounds?
What part of her death could you take responsibility for, sirs?
Could you guys take responsibility for the bruises and lesions on her?
That was some pulmonary embolism.
Woo!
I ain't never seen no pulmonary embolism like that before.
Yeah, but you know the thing is, like, I'm sure like they don't like us being here because they just don't understand.
Right.
But
you know what I say to that? Don't respond then. Tell Scientology to screw off. How many times are they going to call you before you stand up? It's like the police in...
They're definitely coming over here.
Nice. It's like the police in Clearwater.
Yeah.
Hi, sir. We brought pictures of Lisa McPherson and how she really died. Not by a pulmonary embolism like I was told when I worked on staff. Really?
Puncture wounds, bruises, cuts, pretty gross. Cockroach bites on her hands.
Ask them how it's possible to have those marks from a pulmonary embolism. What's going on?
Not too much. Is that your bag, sir?
Yep.
What are you protesting?
What are we protesting? The crimes of the Scientology organization. Particular topic today is Lisa McPherson. She's a Scientologist who died down in Clearwater. Horrible death. I used to be on staff, just to give you a quick version. I used to be on staff, and when there was a protest one day,
with Scientology?
with Scientology, there was a protest one day, and they were going to have signs like this, and they told me that she died of a pulmonary embolism. Something, you know.
I believe what these guys just said to me.
What did I say to you, Steve?
Get that camera out.
Go ahead. They can
them
say,
out of here.
They can say what they want to say. Go ahead.
So anyway, they told me that she was in a car accident that later resulted in a pulmonary embolism. This is not a woman who died from a pulmonary embolism. And the part they left out were the most important parts, where she had a nervous breakdown after this car accident. She got out of the car, started stripping her clothes off. The paramedics took her and brought her to a hospital and said, look, this lady needs psychiatric help. Scientologists came, took her out of the hospital, and said, no, 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 we'll take care of her, because they're very much opposed to psychiatry and psychology.
Sir, let me tell you.
These guys are upsetting everyone walking by
Step
here.
over here.
It's a very upsetting subject, I understand.
As you know, we're here because we did get a call complaint. I've been driving past here all morning long. I don't see any violation. But just a reminder, just stay off their property.
Right.
Passageway open and free.
All right.
Pedestrians, and that's pretty much
absolutely.
And just to let you know, we are, just so you know, from that light pole over here to over here is all we're going. We're not following these people.
Oh.
Like I said, I saw you out here a couple of hours ago.
Right.
Driving by, just staying on the sidewalk. But whenever we get a call, we do have to come out.
Sure.
And I just don't think that they're happy because some of their members were like, oh my God. You know, are you a former member? I am not. No. I just don't like seeing this being done to people. It really upsets me. Okay. To see them tell people it's a pulmonary embolism, then I see autopsy photos online where it looks like holes in her arms, cuts in her face. You know, as a citizen, I just want to say, hey, you guys should at least look into it. Do you know that gentleman that just walked in?
Yeah, the guy in the white shirt with the tie? Yeah, Steve Lauer. I used to work with him. I don't know the other guy.
California or here? Did you say you worked?
No, I worked here. Actually, down in Fraser Mansion when they were closer to DuPont Circle back in '97. Yeah, that was Steve Lauer. I used to work not in the same. We worked in the same building. He was a different shift, but yeah. Okay. The other guy I didn't know.
All right, well, you know, that's it. Again, like I said, we've got to complain.
Yeah, I hear you.
No violations. Stay off the property. We'll make sure we don't block everybody's path. And
we sure will.
We appreciate that.
Yep.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right,
thanks so much.
Now, I mean, this guy seemed a little agitated.
I noticed, yeah. I mean, it's okay. Go ahead.
I don't want to have to come back here because, you know, something personal was said. Okay.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know,
I don't want you to have to come back.
Don't direct anything to. I mean, I understand you might if it's against the place itself,
right?
But not necessarily toward one individual.
Sure.
Okay, because you know he seemed a little agitated.
I know, and I'm taping everything just in case they try to say that I did something that I didn't do.
All right.
So, but I hear you. It's an upsetting subject. I understand it. I remember when I was on staff and they came around with signs like these, I was very upset. But ultimately, I think it will do them good because they're being forced to confront the truth which they're not being forced to do when they're on the inside. So
I mean, I know they get upset because they bring people, they have people that hand out cards and they try to bring them in. And people see this, they turn around, they walk the other way, and they get really mad because we cost them money. They want to sell them books and stuff, and they get really upset. So, but we're not singling any individual out.
Absolutely not singling any individual out.
Well, what was said to him?
Nothing. I don't know what he had in mind. When people walk by, we say, look at what happened to Lisa McPherson, really. Things like that. Nothing personal at all. Nothing personal. In fact, I invited him to repeat what I said because I was taken aback. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he didn't say anything, as you guys saw. I said, like, what'd I say, Steve? And he was just like, didn't say anything. So I was like, I didn't think so. But no, I would not do that. I like these guys. I still do. I mean, I worked with them. They're good people. They think they're doing good, but they're completely fooled because they don't get to see stuff like this.
Now, what you explain this to the officer? What's going on?
This was a lady that died in Clearwater, Florida. She was a Scientologist. She was in a minor car accident, and she had a nervous breakdown. She got out of the car, started stripping all of her clothes off. The paramedics responded to the car accident, saw that she was freaking out, brought her to a hospital and said, this lady needs help. She was yelling gibberish, trying to strip off her clothes. Scientologists came, took her out of the hospital, and said, no, we'll take care of her, because they're very much opposed to psychology and psychiatry. They took her back to a Scientology building and tried to nurse her back to health, but over 17 days, she kept getting worse. They kept logs about how she was doing, and she was very violent. She wouldn't eat or drink, so they tried to force feed her. And on the 17th day, she stopped breathing. Then they brought her back to a real hospital. They passed 3 hospitals to get to one where a Scientology doctor worked, and she was dead upon arrival. When I worked on staff 2 years later, they told us that it was simply a pulmonary embolism, like a blood clot in the lung, and that's how she died, and that's all there was to it. They left out all the bad details, so they lied to us.
I'm just trying to figure out how a woman dies of pulmonary embolism and gets puncture wounds all over her body.
I mean, yeah, she's an emaciated mess.
You know, she's not the only one. This guy here, I think his name was Habernoff. He did something they call a purification rundown. They put you in this hot spa. He died and had the skin boiled off his body. This guy was a German visiting here. They took him off his epileptic seizure medicine and gave him vitamins because they believe vitamins can protect you from epileptic seizures. He died of a violent epileptic seizure. These 3 folks died in the boiler room of asphyxiation. They have this thing called the Project Rehabilitation Force. If you're bad, they kind of lock you in like their own little prison. And these folks died there. And I just want people coming in and out to at least look on the internet. They can choose of their own free will to keep doing what they want. I just don't want them walking by and not being aware that this stuff is out there. I just want them to be able to at least see it. And that's the thing. I'm not being personal in any of these folks. I'm saying, guys, there's something you need to look into.
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for yep. Appreciate your time too. Look at the pictures of Lisa McPherson. This is how she really died. Not by a pulmonary embolism like you were lied to.
Hey fam, I got Lisa McPherson's autopsy photos. She didn't die of a pulmonary embolism. There's puncture wounds, bruises, and cuts.
It happened at Flag. How is that possible? It's the Mecca. It's Caca. All right, it's 1:30. We're taking a break. We may come back, we may not. But consider this place turbulated. Don't you think?
I think it's pretty dead. I mean, it's like I'm looking for tumbleweeds to start blowing through.
We learned how to interbulate the dead. That's what we learned today.